Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So in this next video here, apparently Mr. Nash is a little bit upset that somebody was calling him out and making fun of him. And so he's responding to this channel, I'm not quite sure what it is, by saying, oh, well, they're just trying to sell a software program.
What I want you to do after this video is that if you watch their infomercials on YouTube, which is just an infomercial for the product, you notice that they talk all the goddamn time about PE ratio this, and PE ratio that. Now, all I want you to do after this video, don't trust my word for it, don't trust their word for it, go through their videos and see how many times.
Hey, Tom, don't take their word for it, don't take your word for it. Folks, I've mentioned this a while back in some other videos. It's another reason why I know Tom was never a Wall Street analyst. You have to be a good communicator. Tom has kind of shaky English. It's not good enough. You see, because analysts are salesmen, and you communicate with institutions, big-time investors. They're not going to take anything this guy has to say seriously just because it's English. Not to mention his analysis is a joke. But we'll be getting into that in the future.
The point of this video is that if you watch their infomercials on YouTube, which is just an infomercial for the product, you notice that they talk all the goddamn time about PE ratio this, and PE ratio that. Now, all I want you to do after this video, don't trust my word for it, don't trust their word for it, go through their videos and see how many times they talk about PE ratio as an investment decision mechanism and how it's important in investing, in value investing, in PE.
So he's saying that PE ratio is not important in value investing. Okay.
Go and find somebody who's ever worked in the financial industry.
Me, on my third decade.
An analyst, somebody who worked on the trading floor. Anybody with actual trading or investing experience.
Yeah. Advised multi-billion-dollar funds. Worked in venture capital. Worked in merchant banking.
Anybody from Wall Street that you can get a hold of.
That's me. Hello.
And ask them, how do you know that somebody's a clown, a buffoon, and is a fake?
I'm looking at one right now. The telltale signs are obvious. Tom Nash, you're a clown, you're a fool, you're a fake.
If they mention PE, this is exactly what it is. If somebody mentions to you PE, that means they've never worked a day in their life on Wall Street or in any sort of investment capacity, because nobody is using PEs in the industry, literally nobody. And if you hear somebody talk about PEs, that's like an immediate kind of giveaway. You know that they're just bullshitting. They're not from the industry.
This guy is disinformation. I can assure you right now, every single Wall Street firm, when they go over, talk about earnings, they end up talking about PE ratio. It's a very important metric. Is it the only important metric? No. Should it be used in isolation? Probably not. But one thing is for sure, it's very important. And the second thing is that it's very important even as a single metric if you're a value investor. It's very important. There's other measures as well. Tom Nash doesn't know what he's talking about. He's never worked on Wall Street and or in the investment side. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I have. I'm a research provider, research analyst, investment strategist. Okay, once again, I've advised big-time funds. Tom Nash has not. Tom Nash is a fake, he's an idiot, and he's a fraud.
Nobody uses PE. Trust me, it's just nonsense. Like in Russian we say, brед, пиздец.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Nash, you should go back to Russia, where, very corrupt country. You might be able to work as an analyst there because you're dealing with the bogus stock market. Now, let me just go ahead and be clear about this. Mr. Nash, you mentioned that all you got to do is find somebody that's worked on Wall Street as an experienced investor, a trader, an analyst. First of all, traders, the more you open your mouth, the more it's obvious that you were never an analyst. Okay? That's obvious to me. Traders don't really care about any of that stuff. Oh, they're the last people that are going to look at anything in terms of fundamentals. Okay. The second thing is that, let me explain to you who I am, in case you haven't figured it out by now. The name is Mike Stathis, and I run a research firm, AVA Investment Analytics. Now, I hope this gets to you because I want to hear what you have to say. Oh, well, he's a nobody. I worked at UBS. I worked at Bear Stearns. I've worked in venture capital, merchant banking. I've advised multi-billion-dollar hedge funds, venture funds, endowments, corporate treasury departments, mutual funds. So I'm not even going to talk about my track record because I'd be here too long. I'm the top guy that predicted the financial crisis in detail, in depth. And I wrote about it in 2 books. I'm the only person in the world that not only wrote in a book, showed people, actually instructed them how to short the subprimes and the banks and home builders, but I'm also the only person in the world that predicted that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac would go bankrupt and be bailed out by taxpayers. I predicted that in a book, okay, in 2006. And since that time, my track record has remained pretty remarkable. So I am a world-class analyst. I cover many things. I'm a generalist. I am a very experienced, more than 2 decades experience in the financial markets as a professional. And I've served many roles. Once again, I've been a financial advisor. I've been in merchant banking. I've been in venture capital. I've been as an analyst. Okay. And I have serviced many very high net worth individual clients and multi-billion-dollar funds. That's fact. Okay. And I'm telling you right now, you don't know what you're talking about. You are an absolute clown. PE ratios are exceedingly important. And for you to not understand that tells me that you have never been an analyst working on Wall Street. Absolutely not. Now, I'm going to educate all you kids out there who might have fallen for this con artist so that you're going to at least learn something. And I'm not here selling you anything, unlike this guy. Here's the deal, okay? And he says that price to sales, that's the only metric that's used on Wall Street. I can't even begin to tell you how wrong that is. That's a joke. Price to sales? Folks, let me explain something to you, okay? PE ratios are very important. Now, for certain stocks, obviously, you're not going to have a PE ratio. The stock has to be profitable. Tom apparently doesn't respect the importance of a PE ratio because, well, that's why he's gotten himself blown up into all these garbage stocks, many of which apparently are not making any money. And these guys, meet Kevin, Graham Stephan, Tom Nash, all these guys, Jeremy, they prey on people who don't know anything. In fact, you can get higher level, much higher level information free online than listening to these clowns. I'm telling you right now, I kid you not. I can point to you sources where you can learn much more than these guys will ever know that are free, okay? But most of you people are lazy. You want to hear something coming out of this guy's mouth, and you all want to kind of create a self-fulfilling prophecy. He's telling you PE ratio is not important, right? PE ratio is extremely important for the market, okay? And the market determines the majority of the moves of all stocks the majority of the time. By the way, Tom, you should know that since you're supposed to be a former senior analyst at a top 4 Wall Street firm. Of course, that's not true. I'm willing to bet $10,000. If you can prove to me, Tom, I will hand you $10,000 cash. In fact, I'm more convinced now. Even I was 99.99% sure you weren't before. Now I'm 99.999999999% sure that you were never a Wall Street analyst. Let me explain to everyone now, because you're not learning anything from this clown, why a PE ratio is important.
So while we're on the topic of crypto, if you're looking for a place to buy, sell, track, or trade both crypto and NFTs all in one place with fees that are up to 85% lower than the top competitors, then FTX US is there to help. They're trusted by millions of users, and what I like the most about them is that they allow you to set up an automatic recurring buy so that you can dollar cost average into the markets on a regular basis. So if you're interested, the link is down below in the description with the code GRAHAM, and you could get all the way up to $100 for signing up depending on how much you trade.
Number one, I was working solely with FTX US. That is not the company currently involved in liquidation proceedings. That's FTX.com. I have nothing to do with that company. I've never worked with them. I've never spoken to them. FTX US was the only company I work with, and they're 100% operational. You can buy, you can sell crypto, you can pull your money out, you can put your money in. Nothing is going on with FTX US. It's 100% absolutely fine.